Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on two different projects out here. The first one is to cut a bunch of flowers, enough to fill up all the buckets in the back of the gator, mostly dahlias, possibly a few stems of Lisianthus if we can find some. All of the flowers are going to a wedding tomorrow, so it's very exciting, and the flowers still look good, thankfully. It's 39 degrees currently. I should have probably started with the coat, but it looks so sunny and beautiful. I'm sure we'll warm up pretty quickly, but the flowers still look okay, so I'm thankful for that. After we're done cutting, we are going to start planting the Redmond linden trees here in the cut flower garden. Only 2 of the quadrants are ready for the trees, but we thought we'd just start chipping away at it, and we are going to do trees before boxwood hedging because the trees are going to be set inside the hedges. So we thought working inside out would be easier. That way we have full access with the tractor and all that. So as far as dahlias go, the colors for this wedding are primarily white and red. So I'm going to pick through all of these. I think they're called Hercules. We're going to pick through these, see what good ones we can find. We've got some snowbound dahlias right over here, and I'm sure we can find some nice ones. And then Bethany did take a bunch of pictures of all the different ones we have out here. And the bride did pick out a whole bunch of really pretty cream colored ones like Cafe LA, possibly some pinks too thrown in there. So it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. Basically, we'll just try to find the best blooms we can and get those buckets filled up. She liked these too, the lilac thyme. I mean, who wouldn't like those? They're gorgeous. And you know, we have not been sending any blooms out from this garden for the last year or two. We have been doing very few like bloom giveaways and things like that like we used to because of the thrips problem that we've had in this space. But I think we're kind of getting a handle on it, which is great. Bethany and I went through all the dahlias a day or two ago, and we did kind of the tap test. If you take a bloom and tap it on your palm, if there are thrips, you will see them. And I think there was like one that we ran across. So we figured that every bloom that I cut today, I will probably tap and make sure that there's no thrips in there, but we will be sending out, I would say 99.9% clean blooms today. Probably closer to completely clean because of our really cold nights. But I've got my Felcos and my cleaned out and filled buckets. So let's just get this project done. Look at that, it's huge. It's a bumble. Look at this haul, you guys. Oh my word. So I clipped every last viable red and white bloom that I could find, and cream, because I think that's primarily the colors. But because she liked the purple as well, I picked every last viable purple bloom, and then we tossed some of the pink ones in just to round things out. I think they're going to be decorating in kind of a separate area from the ceremony as well, so that I think they could use some maybe off-theme colors in that area. But I'm really happy with this haul right here. And for mid to late October, I feel like that's pretty good. So we're gonna take these all over to the root cellar so they can just hang out in there for the evening, and then we'll come back out and start in on our tree planting. Yep, we're sitting about 42 in there. Okay, this is where they're gonna hang out for the night. They're always so pretty when they're all bunched together like that. Now we've got to gather up all the tools we need to plant our trees. So bolt cutters, box blade, biotone, shovels, rakes, so on. Oh man. There. Okay, we are out here assessing the space, and we decided that we are going to wait to plant the trees out here until everything has been cleared out. All the drip, all the plants that need to go, the big pots up front, because we want to run string. Nothing is quite lined up like perfectly, but we want the walkways that go through all these quadrants to line up perfectly in the end. And in order to do that, we need to run string and just determine where all the center points are and all of that. So we are switching gears. We've got other trees out there that need to be planted, so I think that's what we're going to focus on today. Paul and Bethany are going to be working on clearing some of this out, and then we're going to be coming in and help clear it out as well. It's just not quite ready to go. So we still have Vanderwolf pines, Fat Albert blue spruce, there's a big cedar out there, there's an ash, a coffee tree. Do you know where you want any of those to go?
None of them.
None of them? Awesome. So that's what we're going to work on this afternoon. We're just going to go back out there, pick some stuff out, and find spots for it because they need to be planted just like the lindens need to be planted. So yeah, we'll get something done that's on the list.
Sweet.
What about the other blue one? That was the blue
Yeah, we're going to get the blue one. That is right.
the blue.
How did you know?
I was just about to say that.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Are we getting that purple tree?
No, well, maybe. We'll probably plant that today.
Because that one. I'm going to do.
It is pretty.
We're going to do the blue one.
The blue one right there.
yeah,
first.
we are. You know what? That
What?
one's going to have pink flowers.
It is. Yep, you are correct. All right, guys, so back here out at the tree racks, feel like we were just out here planting some, but we've got all of these evergreens. So we've got an electric blue cedar. We're gonna grab this one first as a Fat Albert blue spruce, 2 Vanderwolf pines. And then over on this side, we've got another one of those Crowder Vesuvius plum trees. We planted one of those in the back, as well as one of these angel blue weeping cedar. And then we've got a purple ash, a Kentucky coffee tree, and then the 4 at the end here. There's 2 Norways. One is a skinny Norway, one is a regular, and then 2 of the thornless cockspur hawthorns. I'm not sure how many we'll get in the ground today. We'll start with the blue spruce and just kind of work our way through as many as we can. I was only planning on planting probably about 6 of the linden trees today in the cut flower garden, so we'll get at least that many, I'm sure, in the ground of the other type. In fact, these lindens haven't even started to change color yet. They're all the ones on the other side. They're so pretty. I cannot wait to see what they look like in the cut flower garden. Okay, we've got these all set up on drip, so I'm just gonna untwirl this, and Aaron should be able to come right alongside here and pick this one up. I know where this one is gonna go. We have to remove a very sketch-looking evergreen from the spot where this one is going to be planted. We had a Serbian spruce left over from our pond project last year that looked kind of crummy, and we planted it hoping that maybe it would come out of it, and it's just gotten worse. So we're gonna take that one out and put this one in that spot in the south garden.
Put the hydraulics on?
Oh, nope, nope. All right, guys, we're gonna plant and then I'll walk you through. We'll do a tour in the end of what we got in the ground and where it ended up. Right here. Yeah, this is just losing needles like crazy.
Hold on, I'm going to cut this.
Well rooted in.
Yeah, there it comes. Oh my. Oh. Good. guys, 6 trees in the ground. We're gonna do a tour just to take a look at the varieties we planted today and where they ended up. You probably noticed Paul jumped in for me right after we got done with placing the trees. He and Aaron plant things together very, very quickly, quicker than Aaron and I do together. And the kids and I had some things to go do this afternoon. So anyway, that's why we did the little switch. When we're done with our tour, we're gonna head up to the raised bed garden and we are gonna harvest the Jacoby little pumpkins. We started from seed, I think at the end of July as an experiment, just to see if we could get some pumpkins from the vines, and I'm amazed at what they've done. Okay, first tree, this is the Fat Albert Blue Spruce, which we actually planted a little bit further over, like the center of the tree is maybe 3 feet from where the center of the Serbian spruce was. I think I like that placement a little bit better, and I honestly love this contrast way more. Like you can see this evergreen, that Serbian spruce with the Arctic Fire dogwood backdrop, you couldn't really distinguish one from the other. They kind of blended. And I always do get a little bit bummed when things aren't thriving, but sometimes it turns into a blessing in disguise because then you can put something in there that looks a little bit better, like this. So this tree, you guys, typically we see them like 20 to 25 feet tall in our area in the end, and about like 10 to 15 feet wide. They can get bigger than that if conditions are ideal. They can grow like 40 feet tall by 20 feet wide, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to bump it back a little bit more from the walkway, because in the case that it gets that big, it has room to do that in this spot. It's a zone 2 through 8, so crazy winter hardy, and I just love this icy blue, and it looks so good having this green Arctic Fire dogwood, which they're turning red right now, which is gonna look beautiful, having this glorious red backdrop behind the icy blue color. But just having the contrast of the two of them is just so much more pleasing to look at. We haven't done a whole lot, of course, right in this area. We had some Supertunias in that pot. They kind of petered out. And then I've got some Baptisia in here, and then we kind of started in with more plantings. But now that this is here, and I feel a little bit better about the spot because it's jiving a lot better. Color-wise, I think I'll feel more motivated to keep planting here. Okay, let's go take a look at the other 5, which are all out in the dirtlands. Okay, you may not be able to see them from the entry point here, but I just wanted to give you a perspective. So this spot right over here, you know, we've been working on this border here, and then Aaron wants to put a little bit of grass, like a little grass island in here, and then more plants on this side. I don't know if that's what we're gonna do, but either way, it's gonna be plants from the lane over. And then this side right here is also a nice border. I don't know if you can see that T-post right there, but that one will come this way and it will meet this post right there. And that will be the new fence for the horse paddocks. So we placed 2 of the trees, the purple ash and the Kentucky coffee tree, on this side of the lane, which those are the first 2 things on this half over here that we've planted on that side. So we'll drive up closer. So the purple ash right here, I'm so excited to see this one fill in. It's the same tree as the one in our front area, kind of over that new shade bed that I planted. It's gorgeous there, and it provides the best shade, and it's got the best fall color. We do have to treat ash trees once a year with a systemic insecticide in order to keep borers out, but other than that, it's a super easy tree to take care of. They grow about, I want to say upwards of 50 feet tall in best case scenarios, maybe between 30 and 50. I haven't seen ash trees get that tall in our area. I want to say ours up front might be 30, 35 feet tall. So at the very bottom end of that range. And then ours is probably maybe 40 feet wide, which they can get upwards of 50 feet wide. And they're a zone 3 through 9. But you can see that beautiful red. They're a medium green leaf in season. And then they kind of get yellow, purple, and red in the fall. There's some of the yellow right there. Of course, when they're in this case, a B&B or in a container, they kind of do things a little bit differently until they get rooted in. And then the coffee trees right over here, and some other exciting stuff I'll show you. First off, trusses. They were just dropped off. These are the trusses for the open bay shed thing that we're having built, which I thought they were going to start that project this week, and maybe this is what they meant by that, dropping off the trusses. But we're hoping to have that up in the next week or 2. I think it's going to be 20 feet deep by about 80 feet long. So it'll run the length of this fence. We did send pictures to our neighbor of what we were thinking of putting here, and if they were okay with that, if they would like us to plant evergreens behind it, or if they, you know, just weren't happy with it at all. And they seemed thrilled about it, and they've actually started parking all of their trailers back here and moving their stuff and like kind of organizing their things along the fence too. So I think we're going to have very compatible things on either side of our fence, which is great. But all of this stuff that you see back here, palletized things, our pavers, all of that, the trailer will be parked inside and protected from rain and such. So that's what those are for. There's our firewood that was just dropped off. We had our first fire in the fireplace inside this morning. I built it last night so that when we got up first thing, it's usually just Benjamin and I first thing in the morning, I could just light it, and we sat down there and it was still dark outside. It was wonderful. So this doesn't look like much right now, but we're excited to see how this one fills in. It's supposed to get quite large, like anywhere between 60 and 75 feet tall and 40 to 50 feet wide. And they're a zone 3 through 8. Now I have absolutely no experience with this type of tree, so I don't know in our area if they will actually get that big. Maybe it will. But that's kind of the beautiful part about this space out here, is that we can experiment with some things, see how they do for us, see if it's something that we would recommend to others. That way we don't have to have it really close to our house or walkways or areas where we like to sit, because I don't know, I mean, maybe we've planted something out here that produces something I don't even know about. It's really messy and something that people don't really like. I don't know. So this one will be interesting. I don't know, the pictures of them are really pretty. Other 3 are over there. Oh, I can see all 3 of them from right here. We've got a Vanderwolf pine here, and then straight ahead of us, there's the Crowder Vesuvius plum, bringing some much needed red to this corner. Okay, so there's the one right here, which it's near the Spring Grove arborvitaes, and then there's nothing else between the Spring Groves, and then we have a linden right here. So we'll work on filling this up. But I thought I would get closer up on this one because it's near the Birch Grove we just recently planted, which is so fun. I'm loving it. But these right here, they're just so beautiful. They're so like soft, and they're a bicolor blue and green. Grows about 25 by 15. This one looks wonky. It's either the trunk's doing something weird or it needs to be tipped. Oh, it looks good from this angle. It might need to go this way a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, 25 by 15. So just a really perfect size. I mean, it'll fill in some space, but it's not super bulky. And they're zone 4 through 7. But these do tend to needle cast. So on the interior, like in here, you'll notice every year it seems like they cast needles from in here and push new needles. So they end up being a little bit more of an open kind of architectural looking evergreen instead of super thick and dense, which I like to have the variation because we've got a lot of spruce trees around here that are very thick and dense. So it's nice to have that textural difference. And then look at that plum. Oh, it's so pretty. So we've got some locust trees around here. There's a Kwanzan cherry. There's a couple of the big malad trees we just had installed and some Spring Grove arborvitaes. So we just needed some red back in here. And I think it's just absolutely beautiful. So we'll get more pink spring color along with our Kwanzan cherry, and then just that red leaf color during the season, which we do have a Rivers Purple Beach, and then we've got another a Perfect Purple, I think, or a Purple Prince crabapple down the way. So we've got kind of red, red, and red. It's perfect. And we did recently plant one of these in the back area, like the very far back corner. I actually can see it from here. Probably can't on the camera screen, but I can see it, the canopy through here. But they are a zone 4 through 9 and grow 20 by 15, so a nice mid-sized tree. And that wraps up the trees that went in the ground today. It's just nice to look over at that tree rack and see them start to thin out. And then hopefully this next week we can get that whole cut flower garden emptied out, which means we may have to empty dahlias before they're 100% done. But the cold night last night, just based on what I saw this morning cutting, I don't think they're long for this world anyway. So there's just a very small handful I'm gonna dig, and then we'll clear the rest of them out so we can get started on that project. Be nice to get all 12 lindens off that tree rack. Okay, let's head to the pumpkins. Okay, here we are. Well, little update on the Zahara. These are Zahara Raspberry Ripple Zinnias. Look at how beautiful these are in the containers. So these were planted August the 7th. I just looked it up to determine when the pumpkin seeds were planted. These were all planted on the same day. Here are the pumpkin vines. I planted 2 hills in this 3x6 raised bed. And if we get in here, you can see that they are looking so good. And honestly, the vines are looking pretty good too. So I think I might just take the largest of them off and see what happens with the smaller ones. So August 7th, planting pumpkins in the ground from seed is really big time pushing it, because I think this variety is usually like a 95 to 100 plus day pumpkin. Some sources will say 85 day, but even at 85 days, it was like 5 days over the time frame I thought I was going to have for these to mature. So I think that's pretty great. And I'm looking at these, at the stems here, and everything feels good. Like the rind feels good. You can do the thumbnail test, like put your thumbnail in there. I can't really make maybe a tiny little dent. You do want to wait till that rind is really tough and cured really before you pick them. And usually the stem is a little bit darker than that, but I really want to get these off the vine so we can use them around the house. The kids have been really excited about it. Got some fun shaped ones. Look at that. Oh, I just love it. It also looks like our acorn squash is about ready to harvest as well. Got a little bit nipped in the cold, little bit. We'll do that a different day though. Let's see how many pumpkins we can get off these plants. Look at that shape. It's so cute. Well, look at that. Isn't that so fun? How many is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, which is a fraction of what we normally get on vines that we've started in the ground in May. But you know what? This was a really fun experiment. They don't get as much sun here either. You can see that this bed is 100% in the shade right now. And we're like late afternoon at this point. And when we plant them out in the dirt lands like last year, they got sun from morning until night, and that really is helpful for the plants. Plus giving them ample time with really warm, long days is helpful. But this is just so fun. It just kind of shows what you can do if you've got a little empty space and just want to try something like this. You know, we wouldn't probably get any big pumpkins if we planted this late, but I figured with these small ones, we'd maybe have a shot. So now we know. And this size right here, they're like a little bit bigger than like your, you know, itty bitty ones that we used to decorate with. There's actually some really good eating with these. If you cut the tops off them like you're going to carve them and scoop out the seeds, you can use them as your bowl for soups. You can either bake it prior and put your soup inside, or bake the pumpkin with the soup inside. And I've had these, like my favorite was a creamy garlic soup. Like cream of garlic soup was so good and very mild. It wasn't, I mean, it was garlicky, yes, but it wasn't like too much. I don't know, so good, especially when you're scooping bites of pumpkin out with it. So good and such a fun presentation. So I'm happy to have a few that are a little bit bigger. I think we could do that with this one, this one, this one, and maybe one of these. This would be really cute, like more of a Samantha size pumpkin. And you guys, that is gonna be it for today. A little bit of flowers, a little bit of trees, and some sweet pumpkins. It was a great day and it did warm up. It was really a beautiful day to be out here working. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a great day and we will see you in the next one.